Welcome to the Gentleman's Talk, where the podcast talks about a man's battle with mental health, his personal experiences, and his journey to be a better soul. Hosted by James Dean Littlejohn.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Gentleman's Talk with your host James Dean Littlejohn. There you go, mixed up something a little bit different there. And I must address, actually, I was thinking about it in the shower a minute ago, and I was thinking about my podcast, and I was going to jump on out and start one. I was like, oh, in a good mood, James, in a good place. Jump on, show some enthusiasm from your miserable self for the last couple of 3 days. So I jumped on, and here I am. I have a nice cider tonight, just to reward my sterling work today. And I was in the shower, and I was like, oh, how do I do this? And then when I was thought about it, I thought, well, I need to address, there's probably a lot of people listening to this thinking, who the fuck is James Dean Littlejohn? And that's got to be made up. Genuine, that is my name, James, proverbial James. It was from the 80s. It was a big name in the 80s. Dean, now, funny story there. Now, I play two sides of this story. The real reason that my middle name is Dean is named after my uncle, who is Dean, who's obviously married to my auntie, who's my sister's sister. My sister. Sorry. So anyway, complicated. Fucking hell. That started frazzling my brain there. However, because it coincides with James Dean, the rebel without a cause, or rebel with a cause, I can't remember. One of the things. It's a famous guy, James Dean. I always play the James Dean card. And my dad, he did like James Dean, so kind of it sort of peters out quite nicely. But I believe the true reason is because my uncle's called Dean, from the 80s. So do you know what I mean? It could have been all sorts going on. I have questioned my mum quite a few times and said, you sure that it wasn't because they just weren't sure. So it's just like, fuck it, chuck him in. We better name him Dean, make it sound like there's something in there so we can kind of fucking pass it off. I don't know. There was all sorts going on in the 80s. Fuck me, drug-fueled fucking rampages everywhere. So you just don't know. Certainly keys in the bowl. I mean, we're bringing it back now in the fucking 20s, but 2000s, whatever this fucking generation is calling it nowadays. But yeah, interesting. So, I was, sorry, there's a little digression there. But ultimately, was it, like I say, diverting away from that. And Little John, and yeah, sorry, that was it. Little John is obviously my name. And I've had a really, if I told, I'm gonna tell you the extra little bits just so that you can really fucking get a picture of my childhood. So obviously my name's James Dean Littlejohn, as in Robin Hood, or if you really want to go down the realms of the Robin Hood stature, or, all that sort of kind of bit. It was actually John Little, not Little John. However, it didn't sound right, so I'm led to believe that it got changed, but it was actually John Little. So if you look back at that and you go Robin Hood and all the other fucking things, and I used to live up in Lincolnshire, right outside Nottingham Forest, or Sherwood and all that sort of crap that was up there. So it was quite interesting, and then believe it or not, when I moved back down to, the local area where I grew up, I used to live in a road called John Gay Road. So, and he was a famous poet. So, but if you can imagine, you're going to school, your name's James Dean Littlejohn, you live in John Gay Road. Fucking hell, you develop a thick old fucking skin. I can assure you of that. Now, the good thing was, when I was younger, not so much now, I'm rather rotund now, but in my younger youth days, I used to be a fucking whippet. So I used to just gob the fuck off to everyone, fucking call them all arseholes, and just fucking run like Billy-O. I think I would probably give Usain Bolt a run for his money. I was that fucking quick. And also quite agile, and I could take a punch anyway, so it didn't really matter. But you develop a thick skin. But I just wanted to address that, really, because probably people listening to this thinking, who the fuck is James Littlejohn? He's got to have made this up. Why has he made up something so fucking ludicrous? No, genuine, this is just me. I told you, this is raw and unedited. This is just me chuntering on. That's my name. I enjoy it now as you get in this, once you move away from the fucking pathetic stage of being a child where everyone just rips the shit at you for nothing. And it was interesting when I remember the first time it ever came to a fucking light. I was in a nightclub, and I was talking to this person, and fucking over the thing, she was like, "Oh, what's your name?" And I was like, "It's James Dean Littlejohn." And she was like, "No, it's not." And I had to actually get my driving license out, and she was like, this group that we were with couldn't fucking believe it. And she was like, "I can't fucking believe your name's James Dean Littlejohn." And it was like, it was just, that was the first time there where you think to yourself, because it all gone round the group we were in, they were all like, "His name's James Dean Littlejohn, I'm fucking telling you now." And they were like, "No fucking way." I had to prove it, and they were like, "That's cool as fuck." And it's a transition when you get into being an adult, and you actually realise these things are quite fucking cool, or they're quite retro. At least I'm rolling with it anyway. But I just wanted to address the elephant in the room, in case there was any listening going, "Who the fuck is a Gentleman's Talk hosted by who?" So, interesting. So as you can tell, I'm a little bit more positive. I've took a bit of a turn today for the better. Like I said, I jumped on and I was like, "Fucking grip this shit, sort yourself out, James." And I did. I've been reflecting quite a bit, actually, which has actually turned out to be quite useful, being relaxed and actually not thinking and not actually pursuing what I normally go for, which is that I need something to do, I need somewhere to go, but actually sitting here and thinking and divulging and rolling over things. I actually thought to myself, "James, you're getting upset at people because they're not helping you fill a void in your life. And this communication thing I want to, and I love it, and I do, and I do it for my love. I genuinely do contact people all the time for love. I genuinely do. I think that I'd love to support people. I'm really am kind-hearted. I don't like seeing people unhappy, and if I can hear about their day, then that's absolutely fucking fantastic. And then obviously there's times when I don't want to do that because I'm in a shit mood, like I was the last couple of days. But I reflected quite heavily and thought, I'm trying to get people to fill this fucking void and all this sort of stuff. And then, in actual fact, I've got this void that's fillable with my immediate family. And there's probably been people listening to this going, "Fucking hell, mate. What are you trying to you sound like you just want to do this and this and this with your mates and that's it." And I was like, and I did, because I suppose because I live with my family every day, you think, well, I want a break from that norm. But in actual fact, you can have the break from the norm with your family. And that's really interesting on the back of that. Straight away, we're going to a couple of fates this weekend for the Jubilee weekend. I've booked a hotel for me and my wife to stay in. We're going to go away and I'm going to fucking, like, literally, wine and dine her, really spoil her, because she's been my fucking rock over the last year. And for me, that's she actually made a comment the other day. "I've got a new dress," and I was like, "Oh yeah." She was like, "So you can take me out for a meal or something." I was like, "Yeah, I'd be fucking lucky." And I sort of played it off, really, just as I don't know why, just a typical bloke thing, I think. And in actual fact, I was there today once I perked myself up, and I've been doing some more DIY and building in the back garden. So that's why I'm really sort of excited, because I've been thinking, but at the same time I've achieved something, and my garden is looking fucking beautiful. I love it, I really do. I've put heart and soul into this, to be fair, and I'm actually starting to see the rewards of my vision that I had about 6 months ago. And it's interesting, as somebody who does design work, how when you see something coming together, I mean, obviously there's standard constraints in life, isn't there, with money, and that is for me, raising fucking kids, and like I said, it's been fucking nails. But at the same time, I'm starting to see a little bit the hard work's coming off. Today I received a certificate to confirm my module 2 and my degree was completed, and that is fucking amazing, because that was the hardest 2 months ever, of like fucking 7 or 8 different assignments to do, and learning about the law aspect to tie law in with health and safety. Now, even that, 2 fucking boring subjects together, I mean, fucking hell, yeah, Jack rod me up the arse, mate, I love it. Interesting one, though, interesting one. So I was proud that I'd done that, so there's another little spin-off, and then went out and did some more DIY. So what I envisioned about it about 6 months ago, what I wanted. I wanted something modern, sleek, with a little Mediterranean feel, lots of greens against darks, and it just kind of came together, and it's just starting to look nice. I'm starting to really enjoy it, and I'm starting to nurture that environment. It's beautiful. I love doing that. I love growing the plants. I love growing the grass. I fucking, like I say, want to kick the birds in when they go on my grass, but it's an interesting thing. It's nice to want to enjoy something, and like I said, it's barbecue season soon for us in the UK, so I'll be having plenty of barbecues, try and get some people round, and just ultimately, like I say, I've got a gas barbecue, spark it up and just chuck some bratties on, and away we go. So it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to the next sort of kind of 3 or 4 months of warm weather. Hopefully longer, but I know it won't be. But you know, that's just the way the UK weather goes. Anyway, I've got an interesting one actually, and this is more of is this a mental health thing? Probably not. It might be, because I was kind of overthinking, and it's probably a little bit. It's an interesting story, but I want to share it because this is a man platform, and I'm just a bit fucking nuts. But I was so I don't know if you. I mean, I started shaving me old knackers, you know, a little while ago. This is where this story's going. So bear with me, and you know, as you do. I don't know why. It's one of these. It's like the big phrase, isn't it? A big phase at the moment. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know why. It's like get rid of your fucking hair thing, isn't it? So I just neatened them up a bit, and I thought I had a little bit of like an ingrown hair on the side, and I like just under the base, you know what I mean? And I was sat there and I was like, is that fucking, you know, when you feel it, and it's gone like a little dark bit, and it was like a dark bit, so it looked like an ingrown hair, and I was like, oh, do you know what I'm gonna have to do? I'm gonna have to get a pin. I've seen this, you know, I've seen fucking women doing it, haven't they? You know, they get ingrown hairs, they're shaving their hairs and legs and stuff like that. I say women because that's the only relatable thing, but there is obviously other sexual orientations for other people that they might want to shave the legs as well. I think cyclists do it as well. I think they shave their legs, so maybe they understand it and stuff. I don't really get ingrown hairs. If you've seen my fucking beard, you know, there's nowhere to. All my hair just fucking grows. I don't really want to shave it, so this is a new thing for me. And I suppose it's like trying to better yourself. Anyway, so I thought, I'll fucking nip it out. And it gets a bit weird here now, not going to lie to you. So I just nicked the side to try and sort of kind of hook under and grab the hair without disturbing too much of my fucking sack. And, yeah, what fucking happened shocked me a little bit, actually. And I know if there's people waiting on bated breath for this, but I'm just trying to relive it myself a little bit in the moment. So I fucking nicked it, and I'm not lying to you, fucking blood poured out. And I thought, oh, okay, well, maybe the hair's there. I'll give it a quick squeeze. Fucking pissed out. Transpired, I'd nicked like a fucking blood blister that was attached to an artery or something. I don't know. So what I did was I fucking got a load of kitchen roll and, yeah, just fucking wrapped it in my fucking boxers around my knackers and, you know, hope for the best. And I can say, in all honesty, it was delicate pulling the blood off the next morning, but yeah, I got through it, mate, and it sealed back up and there's nothing there, so it worked. So just a little bit of a hint and a bit of a tip that it does work. You know, there is an element, but just be careful. I know I got a bit of a shock, but I did what I did when I had a vasectomy. I fucking just put tissue down there and I just, you know, pulled my fucking pants up a bit tighter than normal to crush it into the bollocks. And, yeah, went for that and said, fucking that'll ding dang do for me. Note to self, not sure I'm going to go forward with shaving the bollocks, because although I know it wasn't an ingrown hair, still didn't sit easy. The pin to the ball area, and I've had a vasectomy, so I fucking fully concur. And anything around the testicles does hurt, and especially when you're trying to go around there, it turns from a set of bollocks into just a fucking really tight knuckle. You know, there's nothing there, mate. It's just a little fucking solid sack. Anyway, I'm going to move on from this. So, interesting. Like I said, I felt... let me take a quick sip. That's a delightful mixed berry fruit cider there. Sterling work. And, yeah, for me personally, as I said in my last podcast, it's a battle. I understand that. It really is a battle. It's hard work. Ups and downs. I know that I'm on a relative high at the moment because I've done something I really enjoy, which is building. I've done something that is... I've seen my hard work come to fruition. I'm seeing what has been manifested in my head from things I've seen around countries and the things I've seen in magazines or whatever. And bearing in mind, I've got a small garden. And like I said when I put on my social media, actually, that I said it's small, but it's mine. And I put under the caveat that with, that's what she said. Whoa! Anyway, move on. That was for a fellow comrade. So I'm seeing it come together. I'm seeing it. So I was enjoying this afternoon, and do you know what? I worked close with my wife. She helped me. She was like holding the batons of wood while I screwed them in. Whee! She's holding my wood while I screw it in. Fucking this is where this podcast is going. So stop. Now. Stop. So we were working together, and it felt great. It really did. It felt nice. The sun was shining, caught a bit of sun, and I was admiring the grass. And then I knew when I'd finished and I'd got to the point, I was like, that worked perfectly. I need to get 9 more battens tomorrow. But they aren't fucking cheap for wood nowadays, I can tell you that. It is actually getting to the point where I think I would rather go and pay for a fucking brothel and get my wood from there. Woo! You know what I mean? Because it is fucking expensive. And there's nowhere around that I can ask, on the building site. Can you spare me a bit of fucking 2x2, mate? So I'm seeing it come together. And that was a really nice afternoon for me. So going from like yesterday to fucking sort yourself out, stop trying to rely on other people for your void. Try and create that happiness yourself. And that kind of brought me on to another thing where I was thinking, well, what makes you happy? What makes you happy? What inwardly makes you happy? What do you want to make you happy? What do you like doing that makes you happy? Like, that's quite a lot there, but just have a little think now. Just what makes you happy? There must be something that pops in your fucking head, and ask yourself, when's the last time you did that made you happy? Depending on what it is, I don't know, but when's the last time that made you happy? If that's your happy thing, and then analyse, why is it not making you happy? So, I can't do it. That makes me happy. I can't do it because of this. What is this? That X. If we're going to go back to fucking old school, school, which is absolutely fucking... This is the first time I've used it since I was at school, actually. And that's X. What does X equal? Do you know what I mean? So it's interesting. That's the first time I said that since I was fucking 15. So, yeah, fucking shove it up your arse. Education system did well there. Anyway, so what is that X? What is that X that's stopping you from being happy? And that is the absolute key to breaking your mental health cycle. Because I sat there today and goes, what makes you happy? And I was like, well, being on the water, wakeboarding, fishing, things like that. And I'm like, well, why the fuck are you not doing it then? Why are you not doing these things? Why are you waiting for somebody to do it with you to make it fun? Well, you can just go and do that. If that's what you enjoy. And I remember when I used to do fishing, and I used to do competition fishing, and I had all the gear, so it felt comfortable. And that's what I think part of my problem is. I haven't got the gear, the stuff that I had before, which was like, you can pitch up and it's quality. It's not finicking around with shit. You just enjoy the time to relax and just chill out. And I was like, why the fuck am I not doing that? So I've booked a day ticket fishing because that's what makes me happy. So it's like, go and fucking do that. And like I said, booked a hotel room to go away with my wife and spoil her. And we're looking, hopefully, in the next sort of kind of next year, we're going to go across early next year, go across to somewhere in Europe. So these are the little things we need these things to look forward to. As just to get you through life, you need things to look forward to, and enjoy the process of working hard to get to that thing that you're looking forward to. But if you stop doing that, you stop booking things, you stop going places, you stop enjoying things with the people that you love, and you try and find it from other people, other sources all the time, it's going to make it difficult. But I ask you back to that question: what makes you happy? Whatever that is, if you're sat there listening to this now, or someone that isn't doing what makes them happy, and what makes them happy because you've seen them happy, maybe you can help to start them by getting them going and going, let's go and do this, mate, together. If it means putting yourself out, then it might perk that person up. You might make their year, and they go fucking hell, and you might kickstart the habit again. You might kickstart that. You might get to go, oh, he fucking likes wakeboarding. Let's go down there and have a fucking laugh. Or do you know what I mean? I'm not saying do that, because I'm more than comfortable to do that. And I know wakeboarding's fucking expensive and it's fucking hard work. And I don't think my back could take it at the moment anyway. But using that as an example, if you know one of your friends that enjoys these things, then get stuck in. Get stuck in. Spark them up. Take them out. Invite them over. Do whatever you've got to do to maybe spark that interest back into them. Maybe that will stop them from being in a slump. instead of just a common, we all do it, text message, how you doing, mate, do we really mean it? When it starts becoming routine, you've got to be cautious when it becomes routine, that it's not becoming mundane routine and you're just doing it for the sake of doing it. You're just doing it because you do it. Oh, I best do this because the boys will get upset with me. No, not always like that. You want quality over quantity in everything you do in life. Try and look for the quality inside of things, not the quantity. Because the quantity, although you may be saying to someone every day, I fucking love you, or maybe saying to someone every day, how's it going? But is it becoming routine in the wrong way? And let's be cautious. And this is where we try and find this balance with mental health, isn't it? We try to find the balance between making sure that it's not mundane, routine, but making sure that there's authenticity behind it. Because if you're not doing it for the right reasons, you're not doing it because, you really want to do it, or you feel like you're doing it because you have to do it, then stop doing it. Because that's when it becomes a chore. That's when you're not enjoying the process. And it's a fine line with mental health. I'm not going to lie to you. It is a fine line between, are you helping this person now, or are you actually hindering them? Because it's quite easy to pick up when people do things for the sake of doing things. And that's where it's really important. If you're going to send a message to somebody, whether it's a voice message, whether it's a phone call, make sure that it's not routine. Break the norm up. Make the conversation interesting. Change it from just saying hello every morning, how are you, and then not responding. Because I've had that. I had that for years. Someone used to say, hey, how are you? And I'd go, oh, hey, how are you? And then, you wouldn't hear anything for fucking 7-8 hours. That's when I talk about where you sit on the priority list for that person. So it's really cautious to make sure that you're not just saying it because of the sake of saying it. Really cautious. Because all you're doing then is leading that person on, whether it's a friendship or a relationship. You're leading that person on, not giving them your true feelings of the situation. And that's so, so important to get that balance right. That ensuring that you're not just doing it for the sake of it. That you're doing it because you want to do it. You enjoy doing it. So that's an interesting one, isn't it? Like little food there, just a thought to think about as we were discussing the elements of friendship, and we were discussing it's good to be there as a friend. It's really important to be there as a friend, but it's also important to be there as a friend for the right reasons. If you're doing these things and you're spending time with that person out of guilt or out of sympathy, then stop doing it, because you'll always get found out at the end of it. You've got to do it for the right reasons. If you genuinely want to talk to that person, you genuinely want to do something with that person or whatever, be honest, be open and honest. I mean, sometimes it can be difficult to be honest, and although, you may know the outcome eventually, it is hard to be honest all the time, but at the same time, making sure that you do it for everything for the right reasons. If there's a true friend in that person, if you're honest with them, and it's not to the detriment of their emotions or their physicality, you're not going to emotionally or physically hurt them. I mean, we all get an element of emotional sadness when we don't get the right answer we want, but that's not a reason to shut down. That is a personal feeling. That's not a feeling that may be intended by the person, but take the beauty out of it with regards to the fact that they've been honest with you and they've come to you and said, I know this is going to hurt you, but X, Y, and Z. I don't want to spend time because of this, or this has become a chore. Don't just fucking cut it on the head. Shut people out that are being negative. But at the same time, if you've got somebody there and it's starting to become a chore, then just let them know. Let them know it becomes a chore. And that's not relevant to anything in my life. I'm just throwing it out there that's how I'd want to be taught. That's how I'd want to be spoken to if that was the case. So, let me take a quick sip again, because this is beautiful stuff, this. Before we dive in and we get too deep. Gone through all sorts of emotions there, haven't we? But ultimately, I was sat there and I was just, like I say, I was just reflecting, doing my DIY, picking myself up nicely. And I just enjoyed the whole concept of just building myself back up. And this is where it's nice and easy to reflect. I think that reflection is such an important part of just living, let alone mental health, but also your well-being. Because if you bottle things up all the time, and you don't deal with your emotions, and you don't deal with your feelings, then they'll manifest in other ways, and they can manifest in, deep sadness. They can manifest into anger. But I can assure you that if it does manifest into you, it's not going to manifest into happiness. I can assure you of that. So it's always going to be a negative emotion, a negative fact that's going to be there. So it's really important to acknowledge if you're feeling. This is why I talk about being open, being honest, and talking to people, and how important it is, because you don't want to let these feelings sort of. As men, we traditionally just bottle everything down. We shove it down, don't we? We're like, fucking, I ain't dealing with that. That's emotions. I'm not dealing with that. Oh, no, I don't want to go there. I'm not. And a lot of us just say yes for the fucking sake of it, etc., etc. We want an easy life to a degree. I mean, people try to make out that men are complicated, but I really don't think we are that complicated. I mean, obviously, that we all have our own elements of complication, but normally men are quite simple. I'm not gonna lie. From my understanding, they're quite simple. They don't like a lot of stress. Yeah, when we're young, we're fucking stupid. We're young, dumb, and full of cum. So at the end of the day, that's what we do. We just go around and as a young bloke, there's two things you want to do, isn't there, really? And it's fight and fuck. Excuse the French, but that's what most men want to do, young blokes want to do. We don't really have our heads screwed on till later on. I must admit, I've changed. The whole dynamic of me has changed when I hit 40. I'm kind of starting to... this is what spurred me on to make this massive change at 40, was because I was like, and I know I say this a lot, but I've really chose that as my date to go fucking sort yourself out. And I'm seeing life differently. I'm enjoying the beauty of life. I'm enjoying the garden. I'm enjoying spending time with my family. I'm adjusting my own parameters, what I'm used to. Because you've got to remember, excuse me, hold on. That's the problem with cider. It's quite gassy. Sorry, I just throw that in there. But I've seen the dynamics in me change. And a lot of myself, even just reflecting, and this is how quick I can reflect. I multitask and reflect all the time. So I was just reflecting on something I said a couple of minutes ago, on how, or the start of the podcast, when I was like, I rely on my friends to fill the void, and I'm transitioning across to trying to spend more time with my family. Well, it's interesting that it's right there for you. It's right there for the taking. So the old James would, and this is where I was a jackass. I was depressed. I was fucking angry. I was just PTSD fucking driven, red fucking rag to a bull type of person, just walking around life, extremely angry or extremely fucking sad. That's where I was. There was, and a lot of fucking craziness in between. I was a fucking ball of craziness, and at one end, if the crazy went too fucking crazy, that's where you get angry, and if the crazy went too fucking crazy, sometimes it went really sad and you fucking trashed yourself. But that was my ethos, and I was like, no, I'm not going to get that excitement from home. I'm fucking going out and I went off the rails, mate. I fucking really did. There's so much to talk about with my decision making processes and everything, but I'm sat here, and even then just reflecting, then just going, fucking hell, James, what are you doing? You got weekends with your family. This is what life's about. Being with your loved ones. And this is what this year's been about. It's so amazing to talk. It really fucking, I can't express how amazing it is to talk. And even just reflecting then and thinking about things and going, what are you doing, James? Why are you having these shit weekends when you think that you should be drinking and spending? And it's not. And it's just adjusting my mindset, because I've worked on myself. I'm slowly rebuilding the bricks that have been fucking crushed over the years. And I have had to be ruthless in removing that negativity. I don't disagree with that path whatsoever. I've removed negativity from my life because I have to, because it's the only way I think that I'm starting to see that clear vision. So I removed that negativity, and now I'm in a place where I'm focusing on the right things for once. I'm looking ahead at the right things. We've made such big changes in the family in this last couple of weeks that it's just going to hopefully see us sort of bond even more as a family. And it's really important to me because I have been an absent father for 10 years and absent emotionally, in a sense. I've been there, but I've been absent emotionally, which when you've got 3 girls is horrendous, and I'm suffering the consequences, trust me, of those decisions that were made under a mental health condition. I made some poor decisions, but mental health is a bastard, and I mean it's a bastard. And if you let it get to the point where I did, you need some fucking strength to get out of it, but you can do it, and I mean you can do it, because I've done it. I can, and I've been to the fucking low. So get up and make the change for yourself. Find out what makes you happy and do it, and then just rebuild yourself slowly. But yeah, that's just me today in a nutshell, just talking about those things and realising that the beauty of what is just immediately around you. And I suppose you just don't see it. It's not until you analyse things and talk, and because I'm talking about it, it's really highlighting it in my head, and it makes me smile in the background that I'm starting to hopefully see these things. I'm unlocking the safes that have been locked and sealed in my brain for years because I didn't want them, because I didn't think they were making me happy. In actual fact, it was the shitty dreams that I was chasing that were making me unhappy, and in actual fact the happiness was always here. And it's beautiful to say that, but it's also heartbreaking to say that, because we can make ridiculous mistakes through mental health, and it takes a strong person to get out of it. But beware, because if you've seen someone with awful mental health and they've managed to pull themselves up themselves and stand on their 2 feet again, they'll be fucking stronger than they ever were. So that is one of the beauties. They'll be stronger, more friendly, and I do just want to spend as much time with people as anybody that's around me that I love. I love spending time with them. So it's just making sure that you get the balance right, and sometimes people need your love a bit more than others. But yeah, it's nice to see. It's refreshing to say that. I'm not going to lie. It's a beautiful thing, and it's nice to have that clear head. And like I said, I've been on a beautiful day today, in the afternoon in the sun, and tomorrow's going to be another day, finishing it off, getting it all right. So yeah, it's lovely. It's lovely to say, and that's where this roller coaster, and you can see what I'm like in the last couple of fucking days. It's just bonkers. Doing the right thing to make you happy, and that's what it was. Today was doing that DIY, and that made me happy. And I'm going to finish my podcast and go and admire the fruits of my labour with a cider in the evening sun, with a couple of my lights just shining around. So that's the atmosphere that I've created, and that's the atmosphere I've wanted. So I might as well sit there and enjoy it. But short but sweet today. But thank you for listening. I really hope that it's entertained you. This one was more of an entertainment one, just for a bit of fun, really, just because I've enjoyed talking and it's nice to talk. So thanks for listening, everybody, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Take care. Bye.